But how is aligning your space in Feng Shui related to wellness and personal success?
So we have specific energy centers in our home, similar to maybe the chakra system, right? Different energy centers in our home that support different aspects of our life. So if you're looking for improvement in your career, you want to get that next job, you want to get that promotion, there's a specific energy center in your home that we can approach and work on. If you want to be seen as for your work, maybe you're an artist and you're ready to be seen and really do your first show of your artwork, right? There's an area of your home that we can approach to work on that. So when we can really detail your home, it can give us so much information. But I do want to say, you touched on something which it can feel overwhelming, which is so very true. It's actually kind of inspired me to write my book because I remember years ago, I had a couple books. I read one. I was so confused. I read the next one. I was even more confused because the second one contradicted what the first one said. I think it can feel overwhelming, and my goal was to make it easy. I have a podcast, Feng Shui Living, and that in my book, my goal is these are easy adjustments that you can go home and do today. Yes, we can dive deeper, but there's so many wonderful things you can do to your space in an evening on a Saturday in 1 hour.
Yeah. I've never heard anybody else voice that experience, but I had that experience too. I was diving into these different books, whether it be yoga or meditation, self-development, and I would be like, wait a second, this contradicts that. There's just so much nuance there that I really had to you have to get in there and kind of view it yourself. I actually used to frustrate me, but now I use it as like a road sign, like, okay, I need to go further that way. There was a particular time in my life when I had all these things in storage that I'd go through someday. This is how I relate to this because I haven't thought about Feng Shui for myself and my life. There's no plan to go through any of this stuff. I realized that part of the work I'd done in self-development was going through my old things. There was an external and spatial element to what I was experiencing. There were things I didn't want to take responsibility for, tokens and memories I didn't want to revisit necessarily. But doing so really helped me let go of heavy energy. I was sort of inspired to do this by minimalism. How does my experience line up with your message?
I mean, it's spot on. Clutter, things, right? Storage is unmade decisions. That's all it is. And it can be hard. It can be scary. It can feel really heavy, right? Clutter just brings on anxiety, stress, depression, all these feelings, but we still think if we just avoid it one more day. But I've seen it bring blocks to clients. And when we can release that, it just feels so freeing, so light, and it can be really hard. So I say, get the support, put together a plan. You can't just decide, I'm going to clutter clear today. You need to prepare. Just like anything else, you need to prepare because it's a big thing. I believe it's 80% of the items in a home are actually never used, which is mind-blowing. We all have a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm thinking just, if you just pull out your utensil drawer in your kitchen.
Yeah.
How many items are a soup ladle once a year? I'm not saying you have to have this sparse home with nothing in it. My goal is to help my clients really fill their home with those things they truly love and value and things that make them feel good, and not the items that, well, I have to keep it because XYZ. Or what if I'm not supported in the future and I don't have this again, right? When we can look at that, and it can be a lot. The other thing I want to mention is sometimes it's not always clearing everything. Sometimes it's not clearing out the garage or the spare bedroom. Sometimes it's removing that really intentional thing, that one box with important paperwork that you really need to go through, that one family heirloom. I had a client that was struggling with sleep, and we looked at her bedroom and we looked around, found a few things we wanted to tweak, but then I found it really interesting. The first thing she saw when she would wake up is a row of family photos. And she got these photos from her mother and felt she had to save them. Well, the very first photo you wake up and you look kind of left to right. We naturally do that. The first photo was of an uncle who wasn't a very nice man and had taken his own life. So Think of the symbolism of that. So I'm like, you don't have to keep all these photos, and we're certainly not going to keep them here.